I got a new toy for my little lithium 12-volt battery slash little solar uh, man shed grilling shack. So every once in a while, since I burn charcoal, every once in a while I gotta get rid of the ashes. So many years ago, I bought a shop vac ash vacuum. So normally I have to run a extension cord over to the house, which is about 12 feet or so. Not really a big deal, but I like to have a inverter in the shed because I had two other inverters in there, and they were the cheap square wave kind and very poorly made and stuff like that, and they always fail, and they always seem to have a problem with the low voltage, even though it was plenty of voltage and stuff like that. So after they blew up, I really didn't do anything. So since I bought that new lithium 12-volt battery, I decided to get another inverter. So this time I got hopefully a little bit better inverter, and this one is a pure sine wave inverter, because square waves are just god awful, and for what little bit of components that go into a pure sine wave, there's such a little bit of cost difference. I don't know why square waves inverters even exist. It's just silly. So I got on the Jungle site this kind. Of course, you already know what it is inside because I got it on the description, on the title. So it comes with some cords. This is your main input cord. This is your ground cord if you choose to, ground it. Not a lot of people do. Comes with a clicker. That's pretty cool. Comes with spare fuses and the knobs for the secure your wires to the inverter. And we got the inverter itself. This is an 1100 watt, 2200 peak watts starting power. And this is the VolfVert pure sine wave 12 volt to 110 volts AC 60 hertz pure sine wave inverter. So here's your connections on the back, very simple, and you got your big fan in the middle. That's temperature controlled based on the outside of the box. And then we have the user interface. So we got two 110 volt receptacles that are good for 15 amps between the two of them. 15 amps total. Then you got your main switch, your manual switch, and then if you switch it the other way, that's your remote controlled switch power, and then you got a center for everything's off. And then nicely we got USB ports and USB-C. So that's pretty cool. And it has a very nice display. So we'll go over the key parts. It's got two USB ports that are between the two of them good for 3.4 amps. Type C port is good up to 20 watts. AC sockets up to 15 amps. And then it's got the user switch. I already specified that. It's got the ground terminal. So, you should hook up the ground terminal just for good measures, but safety third. And of course your LCD display gives you the battery status, input voltage, output voltage. It gives you your frequency, load wattage, and in case you have a malfunction, low voltage or over voltage or overload. And then all the general safety stuff, blah, blah, blah. place it in a secure location, yada yada yada, and it tells you, you know, how long. It gives you an example, a formula of, you know, if you want to know how long a certain battery is going to run at a certain load. So if you had, depending on what you're going to use it for, a high load, under load, blah blah blah, and it's has a 90% or greater efficiency rate, so that's pretty cool. So we'll just this is going out on the shed and stuff like that, and you all guys know how an inverter works. You plug it into a battery and then you get power out here and then you use it. So let's power this up and show off the display, because this is actually a very nice display. So we're going to use some the bench power here. That's at working here, and then we'll flip the power on. Make sure everything's plugged in. We'll turn the switch on. And then we'll flip the inverter on. So it gives you a very nice display. To monitor your system. So these are a little underrated wires that I'm using here. You should use the factory wires or better. So let's plug something in. Something like a hair dryer. We won't run it at maximum wattage, but just to verify that it does work. So we'll plug this in. Put this on low. You didn't really think I was going to use some cheesy little crock clips to run this thing. So we got this hooked up to a battery, and now we're going to flip the switch. Got my little hair dryer here hooked up, and we'll flip the old switch here. And don't know how well you can see it. You probably can see it. We're at 13.4 volts because we got a freshly charged Optima. And we're running at 120 volts at 60 hertz. So let's turn this on low and see how well it does. So we're drawing about 730 watts. And the voltage dropped to about 109. Let's try to put it on high. Oh, didn't like that. So you can see how it went into over voltage, overload. So it does work. So another nice feature about this particular inverter is it has soft start. So if you don't know what soft start is that something like this heavy resistive load can really draw a lot of current, and sometimes they can blow stuff up in it, like all the MOSFETs and crap like that. So what's nice about this is it slowly ramps it up. So I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up. See how it kind of ramps up? That overload kicks in real quick. But you can kind of tell that it's got that nice little slow ramp. So a nice little inverter to have. So this will be, like I said, this will go out into my little barbecuing shed so I can run my shop vac and stuff like that. So I can have the cord without having to run extension cords and all that other stuff and have to put all that away and all that other good stuff. So your VolfVert 1100 watt peak power of 2200 watts, pure sine wave. So the good thing about sine waves, and I'll tell you a little quick story, is I did have a power outage many years ago. So I hooked up a square wave to one of my power strips, and of course to watch TV and stuff like that, see what was going on with why the power went out. It was because of thunderstorm and stuff like that. So I'm watching TV, waiting for the power to come back on, and wasn't paying attention to the clock. So when I looked at the clock, it seemed later than it really was, and the digital clock was running fast. So I timed it. So every minute that clock was running, it would keep clocking over every 40 seconds. So it didn't take long for the thing to go like an hour and a half out of time. Had to change the battery. So I'll finish the story. So to me, in my head, I was like, there ain't no way heck that the time can be later than what the clock says. So I looked up at an analog clock, and it was like, what? How the heck can this thing be an hour and a half out of time in such a short amount of time? So if you think about it, a clock rolling over every 40 seconds, yeah, that thing, it could have been 8 o'clock at night, and yet the clock is saying it's 9:15. So that just shows you how crappy square wave inverters can be, where the power is so dirty that it can't make the clock crystals inside a clock run correctly, so it gives you wacky times. So that's it for this little show and tell of the VolfVert 1100 watt pure sine wave inverter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.